Entertainment Journal at the Addison Improv right now, talking to Margaret Cho, a comedian that you should know about. Super funny person who's done a whole lot of great things. So Margaret, is this your first time? This is not your first time in Dallas. You've been all around.
No, I've been here a number of times, and actually at this club a few times too, but I haven't been back for a while, so it's nice to be back.
It's awesome. It's awesome to have you back. So when you're up there, let's say that someone has never seen you before, what can they expect to see?
I just do comedy that's very, I think, personal and fun, and I talk a lot about race issues and sexuality and feminism, and it's political, but it's also just really wild and can be really raunchy, and I talk a lot to the audience too, so it's always different every time.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and it's really I loved you on your sitcom, and I love what you bring to comedy. What I think is interesting is sometimes when people talk about comedians voicing their opinions on social issues, they say that entertainers should maybe keep their opinion on that. Do you feel like that is true, that sometimes comedians should not have opinions on political things, or do you think that they should always be able to express their opinions on politics?
Oh, I don't know. I think comedians often are very political, even without maybe expressing specifically issues or social issues. They always kind of weigh in because that's what we're talking about is the world, and so your point of view really comes across. I mean, there's all different styles too. People are different, and the way that people express themselves are different. But I've always found that like the personal and social is very political, and as a woman of color, it's really important to kind of express your views because our voices aren't heard that often.
Absolutely. So you've been doing stand-up for over 20 years. I know you get asked a lot, how did you get started? When did you start? Well, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome when you started?
Oh, I don't think that, well, I was too young to be doing it. I started really young. I started when I was like 14,
Oh,
so
wow.
that was like 32 years ago. So I was too young to be doing it, and I was really not really grown up and not really understanding what adulthood was like, and so I managed to sort of grow up really fast. That was probably the biggest thing, but that would have happened to anybody that was really young that got into it.
Absolutely. So when did it click for you that this was what you were going to do forever? Like, when did you know this was your dream?
Oh, I knew before I started. I mean, I knew when I was a really little kid, and I knew like that this was supposed to be my job and that I would be good at it, and I think it's just kind of something that was like the only for sure thing. Like everything else was like really vague or mysterious about my life, but this was the one thing that I knew that I could do.
I'm amazed that you made life choices at 13 that you like stuck with. Like,
oh, yeah.
Very impressed.
Yeah.
I can't even like stick with dinner decisions. I'm really impressed with that.
Well, I can't stick with those, but that's like, everything else was always in flux, but the way my work was, it was always very secure, and I always knew that was what I wanted.
That is awesome. It's really cool to see what you're doing, and I know that our fans are going to love watching you and checking it out. So what's the next big thing that you have going on? When can we see more of you?
I'll be on a big tour starting in September, so that'll be all over the world, which is really great. And so, and then I'm doing some different specials. I have a special coming out on Showtime in September also, and I'll be just on the road and doing stuff. I'm trying to kind of shift gears and do more behind the camera stuff and being a producer, and so that's another part of my work that I'm really passionate about.
So I want to touch on, I know we're asking you a lot of questions. I'm really curious what you're producing. What is something that we can expect to see from you, like that you're producing?
I'm trying to produce a number of different projects. They're all sort of in the very early development stages, so I'm trying to do like some non-scripted programming and some like actual like scripted stuff. So it's all like very different, but it's all very like kind of mysterious right now because we don't really know if everything's going to go. But I just want to get kind of what I learned as an actor and as a comedian and use it for being behind the camera. So I think that's really exciting.
That's awesome. Well, it's so great talking to you. Thank you for hanging out with us in the Dallas Entertainment Journal. So, thank you. I really appreciate you for doing the interview.
Thank you.